All right, yogis, we're gonna start laying on our back. I don't start too much laying on the back, but I'll put you here for about a minute or two. Just like any class, meditation, presence, intention setting. Soles of the feet together, knees apart, arms above the head, bent on the floor. Just opening up the underarms, inner thighs. So we are getting a lot done physically here. All right, you settle for a few moments. Maybe you take a few deep breaths. Work on setting an intention, controlling your thoughts. All right, yogis, I'm going to go through some positions in a kind of micro warm-up flow here, and you pace it out on your own. We'll go through a few times. All right? No rush here, guys. We'll bring the knees together. I'm going to take a full body stretch actually to start here. Legs go forward, arms reach back. Just like if we were standing, we'd reach up to the sky, stretching our body out. You can roll out your ankles, wrists, whatever feels good, right? Okay, second position, knees into chest. You could even curl your chin to your chest, forehead to knees. Okay, third position of first bridge pose. Feet down. You can either keep your arms down by side or reach you to the back. Remember, first bridge, right? Not your most intense, kind of turning on the back body, seeing how it's feeling. Okay, fourth position, warming up that core, lowering down, hips down. I'm going to curl the upper body just a little bit here. So I'm pressing my lower back down, curling the upper body. If I wanted a little more, I can hover the feet, even reach the feet a little forward. Okay, take this slow, yogis. Head, shoulders down, knees into the chest, twist. Knees slowly fall to the left. First twist. Remember in warm-up, we're not really focused on challenging the body in flexibility or strength. Warm-up, right? Once you're warmed up, you can challenge strength or flex. Okay, back to center, knees over to the right. Or second side of your twist. So there's our little flow. We're going to go through a few more times, all starting when you're ready in the full body stretch. Lengthen the shoulders, elbows, knees, hips, waist. Okay, knees in the chest eventually, maybe curling the forehead toward the knees. Bridge pose. I'm going to reach my arms back beyond my ears again. That's called extended bridge. Little crunch, fourth position, hips down, lower back down. Want more? Feet hover. Arms, head, shoulders down, twist. Knees to the left or to the right. It's good to alternate which side you go to first. Okay, back to center, knees to the second side. And a little bit more like a vinyasa now, moving to create that heat, blood flow. Full body stretch, first round, first pose. Knees into chest. You could do happy baby too, right? Or even plow if you're feeling good. Bridge pose. Hips lift, feet right beyond sit bones. Crunch, hollow body. Twist. Back to center, twist. Remember, yogis, if you have back pain, even though this is basics, done in this form, it can be a lot. So less range, slower, okay, if you have back pain. Another 2 rounds, guys. Full body stretches first. If you can go on your own, just do that. This is that really lengthening decompression. This is more like our child pose or yogi squat, knees into chest. This is like our cobra, the back bend. The crunch is like our plank. Then you take your twist, and you can do different forms of twist. Releasing a leg. Second side. Maybe just one more round, yogis. Full body stretches first. Knees into chest squeeze or happy baby plow a second. At your pace, bridge is third. Crunch is fourth. Or boat. First side of the twist is next. Second side of the twist when you're ready. Back to center. Nice job there with our little warm-up sequence. When you're ready, let's meet. Knees into the chest. Take any posture if you didn't get to do happy baby. We're going to meet rocking forward and back, and it's a faster movement, kind of massaging from your glutes through your lower back, middle back, up to the shoulders. It's a really fantastic kind of overlooked method, right? We tend to rush through this rocking. Man, sometimes when my back, middle, upper back hurts, this is one of the best ways I release it in a yoga class. Okay? No rush, guys. Let's meet up in that tabletop. We basically already did cat-cow, but if you want to take it there a little bit more kind of like circular, if you want to throw in a quick wrist stretch, those might be 2 good options. But I'm going to meet you in down dog. Don't worry, you're going to have a good 2 minutes here. So if you're working on something else, take your time. But eventually, good old down dog, first frontal inversion. Take a few breaths. Getting into the feet. So you're taking a moment just to look for more subtle spaces. We did some big stretches and knees into the chest and core. And then you're kind of just back to some smaller areas, more exploratory approach. Yogis, when I was studying neuroscience, we had to study these, they're called EEGs. I talk about EMGs more. EEGs is electroencephalograph. These are where they like measure brain activities, you know, brain waves and certain electrical firing in certain brain centers. And I talk about this a lot, how certain emotions and states of our mind create certain firing in the brain. And you have this kind of crown jewel, we call it, of the brain called the frontal lobes. It's like 40% of your brain mass. And it's the most evolved part of our brain. And it actually fires really, you know, some of these EEGs, the highest brain function the frontal lobes ever measured is in creative.
a lot of people, love is measured higher, but that's maybe because they're not artists by nature. But some of the most saturated brain function of prefrontal cortex has been measured in creative, right? So that's why I do this. That's why I try to get you to be very creative and not follow me, because that goes back to program brain, right? It's like the rest of your brain hitting harder than the frontal lobes. So let's try to be creative in our practice. Our next part here, guys, is good old chaturangas. We're not going to do these all class, so let's get them in now. A nice inhale shifts you forward like a wave. Sometimes you're a little bit more stiff, from dog to plank. There's less articulation. Sometimes it's very fluid. Some extra push-ups. Don't forget to start with gentle cobras. We did bridges, but gentle cobra is a little bit more of a thoracic extension, where bridge is more of like a hip extension. They are quite different, even though they're similar. So just keep that in mind. Cobra 2, a couple of those, a couple up dogs. If you're feeling like excellent, don't forget our swooping down and up, less kind of planky. And if you're feeling tired, child pose to knee plank and cobra, right? So there is a lot of ways to make this stronger or easier. I mean, if you're feeling phenomenal, you just go handstand at the wall, right? So let's get a few chaturangas in, get some weight bearing on the arms. Nice, yeah, add stuff. Basically, we learned that there's always exceptions to everything, right? A lot of stuff we think we know right now in science is probably going to be wrong in 20 years, right? But we got to go with what we know right now. And basically, creative brain is considered the highest brain function. It's higher than love and laughter, right? Love is close. Love and laughter are both very close. In some people, love is higher, but they people who are like really the artists, that's like their identity. People have measured, it's like the highest prefrontal lobe, electroactivity, right? It's higher than love as a general measurement, right? So that's powerful, yogis. That's to know that is so key, because the frontal lobes are the not programmed self. Frontal lobes connect to every other part of your brain, and most of your brain is just programmed, right? That's the part that makes you so special. All right, let's meet back in down dog. And now I'm going to keep going, guys. So now we enter second tier of class. This is where stuff gets more alinear, but it's all stuff you know, okay? So down dog, here we go. Feet step close together, inhale, right leg goes high. This is all stuff you know. I'm not going to demo, so you can be in your practice, okay? Right leg goes high, open up the hip. If you want to do butt pulses or knees into chest, a little extra core there, you can. I'll give you 2 more breaths here. That's about 15 seconds. Some days you'd focus extra stretching, some days extra strengthening, some days extra movement, some days easier. What is it for you? In the moment, presence is our goal, not following what you did yesterday. Okay, inhale, right leg high, lift the left heel, right knee, forehead. Don't rush through that. Really slow everything down. Step into the moment. Step right foot forward. First high lunge. You can take warrior 1, but again, that's a pretty big posture for high lunge. Warrior 1, in my opinion, is an intermediate yoga pose. All right, so rise up to your first lunge. You can bend your back knee. I bend my back knee most times in lunge. So you're in that first high lunge. Working those legs, yogis. All right. Hands swing behind the lower back. We got a strong group today, small group. This is that big first chest opener here for most of us. Okay, big inhale, and then take it down. This is that first kind of big hinge. And look, I don't need to go far, right? Humble warrior. Some of us might want to go deeper. Thigh, chest on the thigh, or even inside. It's not better to go deeper. It is more risky. You're feeling good, you do press range to put your body in more uncomfort. You know, humble warrior is kind of like side angle or dekasana, right? It's a hinged lunge. All right, inhale, rise back up. High lunge, just a quick taste, right? We're not trying to go for peak strength yet. Warrior two now. So third type lunge, let's say. Now the arms go wide, the hips rotate. Front knee bends, back leg straightens. You know what to do. You know this pose. Some days, guys,
right? You're good at holding the posture stiff, right? But then you got to break that pattern, and you kind of like you move a little bit, right? Or your pulse, right? I even bend my back knee here and there. It's hard to see, but my back knee is bent. I'm not letting it cave down and in. But you know, how can you
make it exciting, fun, and challenge your mind and body a little bit? Okay, let's get the side bodies opening. Flip the front palm up, right arm goes high. So this is starting like hip rotation. It's starting lateral movements. So this is a next tier, right? We haven't really done much of that yet. Listen, side angle, back through warrior two, lengthen out, right forearm, right thigh. Top arm reaches past the top ear. Half bind is left arm around the back. Full bind is right elbow inside right knee. It's a pretty big pose for now, but hey. Man, there's some practices, yogis, I can go and do anything right in the start. There are some practices where I feel like I'm still opening up my body and it's the end. And I wouldn't push stuff. I'm trying to be kind to my body, but also not be too cautious on it, right? All right, let's keep it going here.
rise up, warrior two, turn your toes in, parallel, little standing back bend, lift the chest. And forward fold, reach for the floor. Just a few breaths today. Pulling in our straddle. Headstanders go ahead. Pulling on anything or taking a bind is always fun here.
I'm doing a little personal November challenge if anyone wants to join. I have a list of things I'm working on. One is going to be no caffeine. Yay. So last 2 days for me here. I spend $5 a day on a cold brew coffee. I want to stop that that's one thing I'm doing. Headstand every day is another. All right. Meditation, I pretty much already do every day, but I want to do more. That's another thing I'm doing. I have a few more I'm doing, 5, 6, 7 things I'm going to be doing every day for November. And then I'm going to try to keep them going because 21 days is how you build a new habit, right? Some things I'm quitting, some things I'm adding, okay? So if anyone wants to do that with me, I'll be talking about it in class called my November challenge. So it's about 30 days of trying to start some new habits and break some old habits. Okay, so just some food for thought. All right, let's stand up, guys.
Let's step to the front of our mat. Just first posture. Got to work posture every day in a very clear sense. Not as easy to see in some of our lunges. So you take a good posturing. No rush getting here, top of your mat. Let's find that first good old chair, everyone's favorite pose. Come on now. Some days I balance. Some days I do linear. Some days I go deep. Some days I'm up a little higher or one leg already, right? What do you want to do?
It's a really big bent knee pose. You know, you just did straddle and forward bend. This is like back bend, your spine back bends and your knees are bent. So it is kind of an opposite posture. You're still in hip flexion, but pretty much opposite. Big inhale, exhale, forward bend. If you want to take a little crow pose, that might be fun here. Or inhale, half lift, optional vinyasa chaturanga. Here's where you get some free time. We're going to meet back in down dog, about 30, 45 seconds. Handstand, chaturangas, child pose. What are you working on? Be creative. I want to give you the opportunity, yogis, to kind of let loose in your practice. You know, that's a big thing when for a long time I was in practice and I was like kind of controlled too much and my practice was kind of like stagnant. You know, I wasn't growing as fast, but then I found this studio that was like a lot of freedom and there was like a lot of hands. The owner was a handstander, right? So all the teachers were like really like, do handstand, and all of a sudden my practice, like really, they let you go. They don't control you as much. And that's when I practice really a lot more fun and growth, changed. I really grew a lot because people weren't trapping me in a little box. All right. All right, let's go. Downward dog. Let's do the second side, guys. Three-legged dog is where I'm going to meet you. So left leg's going to go up, and then you take a few breaths here, right? You're opening the hip. Don't forget this hip flexor stretch. Bending the knee, opening the hip. Some of us doing a little glute pulse. Remember we did that last week. It's when you drop the hip down, straighten that left leg, lift the right heel, and you pulse the leg up. I'm always trying to find ways to activate the glutes. Somebody is doing a little core crunches or kundanyasanas. All right, no rush. We'll lift that left leg high. We'll shift to plank, left knee, forehead. Let's step our left foot quietly inside that thumb and slowly rise up to that lunge. And then you're on the second side of your just kind of linear basic lunge here.
I know yogis get obsessed with this, right? They constantly say, kind of push the back heel back and, tuck the tailbone, bend the front knee, kind of straighten your back knee, tuck your tailbone. But think about fitness. It's like the opposite. They always kind of bend the knee more and the heel goes forward. I do both.
What do you do more of? Okay, now hands behind the lower back. Try to intertwine the opposite pinky. So if you were like this in the first humble warrior, you kind of switch grips, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, big inhale, and start to hinge, right? Or round the spine a little forward. Taking a couple deep breaths. We haven't done this posture in a while. It's a tough one.
Take it slow, yogis. Rise up. Open wide, warrior two. Get it in here. Not doing a lot of these today, so make these ones good. I'm using these as basics, right? Second tier class. More complex demand.
Arms go to the T. That's opening up. That's that. When we go arms forward, right? That's lunge. That was anterior delt. The last one was posterior delt. You have 3 delts, and now medial delt. So there is a nice little, arm biomechanical thing happening here. All 3 delts. Okay. Now we're going to go side body again. There was no side body in our initial warm up, really, right? Flip the front palm up. Nice big reverse warrior. Yeah, you can do reverse triangle. I teach triangles way more. I'm sticking to side angle today. Okay, warrior two. Speaking the side angle, left forearm, left thigh, right arm goes up and over. These are basic poses, not demonstrating. Half bind, full bind. Nice. Yeah, there's even arm balance entries from here, right? Kundanyasanna is a popular one. People even get into single leg crow from here. All right, so nice job with a few lunges there. When you're ready, warrior two, but straighten your front leg, turn your front toes in, take hands on the hips, lift the chest. You get one more little straddle forward fold. We're gonna hinge, reaching for the toes. If you wanna go big stretch, inhale, half lift, in straddle, widen your feet. It's literally straddle stretch now. The feet slide apart. You can do headstand again. You can kind of walk your hands over to a foot, getting a little bit more asymmetrical in the stretch. Last few breaths, second round. Some of my other challenges here, since I was talking about my November challenge, starting this, and it'll probably extend into December to some extent. Headstand, meditate, no caffeine, cold therapy. So I'm gonna make sure I do cold every day, right? So cold shower, at least, something simple like hands, at least probably cold shower quick, right? I have a weird one on here too. I have a light panel and you're supposed to put that on your private parts every day. So I'm gonna do that too. Light therapy, where there no light ever shines. All right, guys, let's stand up. Let's step our feet to the front of our mat, posture for one breath. That's like your back bend. So you stand up. And then you take one more good chair pose. Now, you can do a little side crow if you're having some fun. You can work on crow, but I still want you to get that chair in. Okay, so get one more good chair in. You can even lift your heels a little bit. I love the heel lifted toe balanced chair, right? It's so good. Gotta strengthen those ankles a little bit more. All right, if you'd like crow or side crow, take it back through chaturanga, handstand, hops. You know, I'm gonna give you a minute here to have some fun, yogis. You just did lunges and chairs. Now you let loose and have some fun. Nice. Nice. So we're about halfway through practice, right? So now we kind of enter third tier of complexity. You know, it depends on your goal. When you're designing your fitness routine, you always ask the person, what's your objective? I'm neuromuscular. I want to keep the brain young. Like if you want to be about it, if you want to look muscular and fit, you should probably go run for an hour and just do squats, bench press, pull-ups, deadlift, right? And abs if you want to look a certain way. And just don't get fancy. Just do those for a year straight, 5 days a week. But if you want to keep the brain young, you know, complexity of movement is much better than doing that. And challenging the mind, confusing the muscles. Some people hate on confusing the muscles, but they're not taking the neuropsychological approach, right? Their objective is different. So that's the stance I take: longevity and youthful and neuromuscular. Okay, let's go down dog. Now we go more complex. It starts with flip dog and fallen triangle. All right, down dog, feet close together. No rush, Brian, if you're working on something. Okay, inhale, right leg rises, open up the hip. Do not rush into the pose, work the entrance. Right foot flips now off your mat behind you. Everyone knows this. It doesn't really ever get easy. It seems easier. Right foot off your mat behind you, spinning your chest and hips to the sky. It's like a side plank, but you're in this twisty back bendy hyper range. Top arm reaches forward and you stretch as you strengthen. Right foot close to the left hand. Left leg straight, pressing big toe down. Right knee bent. Right foot underneath right hamstring. You know, how can you consistently make it easier on your body, right? Inhale, three-legged dog. Listen, shift to plank, right knee to left arm. You twist it under across. Shift weight to your right hand, left arm to the sky, shoot your right leg under across, seal your back foot down like warrior two. Fallen triangle. I love this pose. I think it's underdone because we got to strengthen that adductor, that inner thigh more. Nice, Brian. A little up down there. I like that. Ooh, nice. Hovering that bottom leg. That's double adduction. That's the scissoring, Jamie. That's really good. That's like lifting your top leg and side plank, double abduction. Okay. Listen, go slow. Left hand down. Inhale, right leg high. Open up the hip. Maybe you flip that dog one more time. I'm not doing side plank. This is instead. Okay. Right foot off your mat behind you. Again, if you want to try it. This is very dancer, like kind of fluid, complex movement. Nice. Beautiful. Some days you go fast, some days you go slow. I'd say go slow most days, and especially if you're new to it. Okay, three-legged dog, inhale. Very nice job. There is a scissor switch. We are going to step our right foot forward, but in case you want to try it, peek up at me, yogi. Since we've got a small group, watch me here. I bend my left knee, watch. I hop, scissor switch the right foot forward. So instead of just going here, boom, you hop, then right foot forward. It's fun, your call.
Revolve side angle is where we meet. Right foot forward in lunge, right arm high. Okay, a couple of breaths. If you're feeling good, you could hover your left hand. But I'm still twisting to the right. If you need a stretch, it's something like this. I don't want to give too many options, but that low lunge twist area. Okay, now get strong in your legs. Right arm to the sky, no rush if you're working on something. Stay twisted, bend the back knee, rise up, chest to the right, arms to the T, right arm back, high lunge, with the twist. We haven't done this in a couple months. It's a fantastic pose. Nice. Nice, some of you are still kind of staying down in low lunge. Okay, eventually high lunge twist. Now we go full range, so flip the front palm up, that's your left hand. Right hand now finds the back of your left leg. It's a revolve and a reverse. So left arm goes high, your right leg is forward. You know, that's from the spine, the coil spiral series. It's basically as big as you can stretch your body, right? We could add some hip rotations, but I'm not going to get too technical. Okay, listen, big inhale. Windmill your hands forward. Options, hands go on hips, down by side. If you want a little bit more, maybe reverse prayer, even Go Mukhasana. If you want to try Go Mukhasana, left arm on top, I'll let you decide your arms. Warrior 3, let's do this. We're going big now, third tier class. I want to do a nice kind of, we've been doing some funky practices. If you missed Thursday, we did 7 poses only, the whole class. And we did 4, 3, 5 rounds of each. A little bit more complexities today. Standing split posture, hands on the floor, get that leg higher, get that chest lower. Warrior 3 is like Ardha Uttanasana. You do it a million times. Standing split is like Uttanasana. Same posture, just one leg is lifted, angled with the spine. Handstand hop if you want. People are like, I want to get handstand. How do I do it? Well, you have to do handstand. You have to try as much as possible. That's basically it. There's no fancy strengthening. It's just the memory. The more your body gets up there, the better. You have to do it every time I say, and then when I'm not saying it too. You know, when I was trying to get the handstand, there was not many days off from it, unless my wrist was hurting or something, right? And even then I'd be on the forearms, and then I'd be in the headstand. If you want that pose, it demands a lot of you, okay? Listen, let's meet in Warrior 1. So we're still on that same side. This is biggest flow of class, okay? Left foot at the back of your mat. If you'd like, here's your Warrior 1 just for a moment. Back toes angle forward, front knee bends. Here's the trick, right hip back, right? Outer edge of feet press down. Tailbone tucks. Man, that's a tough pose. I like to say feet hips width distance. I know a lot of yogis be saying heel to heel alignment, but how about we make it easier to start feet about hips width distance? Because then the hips can kind of rotate a little bit better because you're not in adduction. Okay? Big inhale. Exhale, Warrior 2. Right leg is forward. And I'm going to go Skandasana now. I straighten my front leg, flex my right foot, turn my back toes open. Now, beginners, you're like here, right? Keeping the chest up and core, knee over foot. If you're getting good at it, you go a little lower. All right, left heel down. Push the knee open if you're feeling good, guys. Don't forget, guys, look, you can sit on a block. All right? I either push the knee open or I even open up that heart. Left forearm inside, left knee, right arm up and open. Maybe half bind or full bind, you're feeling good, right? Right arm around is the half bind, hand inside the thigh, full bind is there inside. Nice. Krishna Dhyana. All right, big inhale. Back to Warrior 2. This is Vinyasa. This ain't side to side today like I do most times, okay? I'm going straight, half moon now. If you want to do triangle instead, beautiful intuition. Go ahead. Shift your weight to your right foot. Now left foot lifts. Bending the knee, more beginner. Straighten the leg, more work. If you're feeling up to it, big back bend, Shavasana. Left hand reaches to left foot behind you. If you're feeling awesome, eventually both hands reach back, grab that foot, double bound, balancing. You could cartwheel in a handstand. I go through phases. I teach a lot of half moons. I think it's a wonderful posture, but we haven't really been doing it that much at all. It's been weeks, right? And let's bring it back around. Yeah, I'm just holding that pose, right? It's a big balanced posture. All right, yogis, let's keep it going. Warrior two. Nice and simple. Let's windmill down, hands at the front, left leg back. So listen, guys, we did some crow, we did some handstand. It's power yoga day, strong yoga. If you wanted to do forearm balance, now would be the time. Kind of in between the flows, you work on that inversion, you get your last vinyasas in, or a nice seated meditation, cat-cow child pose. But if you wanted to try it quick, down to the forearms, right? Our basic would be holding our dolphin, pulling our chest through our arms. You will get another round at this, all right? So if you're gonna lift one leg, maybe you focus on that right leg. And if you're feeling good, it's that little hop. And with practice, you're gonna get up in your forearm balance. And it's a good time just to take a rest and, you know, come back to your meditation. Remember, you know, one of our main goals in yoga is just to kind of get you out of your normal mind state. So it doesn't have to be fancy to be good yoga. You know, to kind of get you more present, internally self-aware, more intentional, and just kind of with yourself, right? With your thoughts, with the experience of the body. It doesn't have to be fancy, all right? Last few moments here on the first side. Big inversion day, guys. All right, now, can we do the final side? Down dog. You know, this is basically, you know, the end of standing yoga, right? So kind of like our third flow, okay? So down dog, here we go. Starts with two arm balances, all right? Left leg's gonna rise, take your time, inhale, open up the hip. Now work this, you basically slowly enter the posture, flip dog, left foot off your mat behind you. You take a breath or three, depending on your breath work today. It's not a long hold, but it is 3 different parts here. This is the first part. So top arm reaches forward. Remember, your left foot is underneath your left hamstring. So you want to left foot, the heel is lifting, but it's underneath the body kind of lifting. That's the push. Remember that this posture is like bridge pose. Literally, your left foot's kind of like that, right? You're hip thrusting with hips up and forward. And then our second part, nice and slow, back to three-legged dog. Left leg high, shift the plank. Some use their head, some use their behind. Left knee to right arm, fallen triangle. Left leg shoots under across. Outer edge of left foot down, leg straight. Inner edge, sole the right foot down. Right arm high now. So you switch arms, right? You really feel the integrity of the inner thighs. Yogis, this is bridge. Your hips go forward. You don't stick your butt out behind you a lot. You need, I've said this for years, right? You need to stabilize on all planes of movement. So if you're not, you know, teachers teach neutral all the time, and that's why their practice is mediocre. Because they don't understand you have to, in myology in any form, you have to stabilize on all 3 planes or else it's unstable. Right? Then there's more joint tension. Okay, three-legged dog on the inhale. So the point is bridge, stabilize the sagittal plane there. All right, or else you're just in neutral and most likely in flexion. Left leg up and open,
Some of you are already ahead of me. No rush. We're basically going to eventually meet in low lunge, left foot at the front of your mat. Most of you are still kind of with me here. 1 or 2 years are in lunge already. Okay, so you're in that final flip dog. That's like 6 one-arm attempts in class, right? So that's pretty good. We'll meet. Now remember the scissor switch, left leg high? That's a fun little thing. You jump off of your right foot. It's almost like you're in straddle handstand for a moment, and then the left leg swings forward and under. We'll meet with our left leg forward, lunge, twist, left arm to the sky. So this would be considered slow flow in yoga, right? So right hand down, left arm up, revolve side angles first. You're welcome to go ahead or do whatever you want, but we stay here for a few breaths. Basically, it's a hinge and twist, right? We didn't do a bent over chair twist. We're not doing triangle. So this is an important moment. We're not doing revolve triangle or revolve moon. So good idea to work this. This next part, you go slow, right? Left arm to the sky. It's high lunge twist. Revolved high lunge. So you rise up. I bend the back knee. Left arm to the back. If your left knee is forward, your left arm reaches back. It's like warrior two, but you twist to the other side, right? So no, Stephen, you're in warrior two now. So it's right arm forward. Wait, did I mess up? If your left knee is forward, your right arm's forward. I did mess up. There it is. All right, then you reverse, you take it to the full range. Sometimes we do this in true vinyasa, right? Where I don't teach that enough. I set up a flow and then you just go through more movement. All right. Now, warrior three is our next posture. You kind of windmill forward, hands come into center, chest face forward, or arms down by side, backing up. That'd be posterior delt. Remember, this one is a fun one where your finger, we haven't done that in a while. Fingertips touch behind it. Reverse jiva. Start to hinge, warrior three, chest comes down. Okay, a couple breaths there, please. It's supposed to be difficult. You're supposed to have to quit. What's fitness 101? Train until failure. How are you getting stronger? If you can't push it to the edge and have to quit, right? That's what we're working. And then standing split is the final big pose here, guys. Okay, so hands on the floor, right leg goes high. Remember, it's kind of like inhale, half lift. That's warrior three. Exhale, forward fold. That's standing split. Handstand hop would be more. I know, it's a big sequence. If I'm going to teach yoga like this, it's going to be on Saturday. Okay, now you're in standing split. You take a quick warrior one, right foot at the back of your mat, back heel seals, back foot angles forward. It's just like a breath or two, 5-10 seconds. All right, and then it's warrior two, but we're not holding warrior two. Left knee bent at the front of your mat, right leg straight at the back. It's Skandasana. Now left leg straightens. Foot flexes, right toes turn out, right knee bends, and you start to get low at the back of your mat. You were just low at the front of your mat, standing split, right? Most likely your front knee was bent. Now the back knee is bent. You were in warrior, then warrior two. So now it's the opposite. Doing this kind of instead of triangle, right? So, yep, bind, right arm in front of right shin, left arm up and open. It's a tough movement, tough pose. Okay, now go slow. We got one more big posture. Half moon or Chapasana. You come back through warrior two. You start to reach out laterally. Left arm toward the floor. Right leg slowly lifts. Flex the right foot. Straighten the right knee. You know what to do here, guys. You do some work. You have some fun. If you're going for it, right hand behind you like a bow, right knee bends, right hand to top of right foot, and you kind of kick into that bow. Just don't overarch the back. I do it, but you know, I also take a lot of risk. You know, if you want an advanced yoga practice, if you want to do the fancy stuff, there's a lot more risk. You're definitely, let's say, I don't want to say you're definitely going to get injured, but I got injured so many hundreds of times trying to get my practice the way when it was in its peak. I'm even better in a lot of ways now, but I've lost a lot of certain things because I've just shifted in my intentions. All right, let's slowly lower down, warrior two. And this is our last kind of big inversion opportunity, guys. All right, you're gonna windmill down, hands at the front of your mat. Left leg just goes back. I'm just gonna keep it simple. So a lot of opportunity for headstand was straddle. Handstand was all around practice. Now it's the forearm stand, so the big three, right? If you want to go for it here, down to the forearms one more time. I think I saw a few of you with your right leg lifted. How about we do left leg lifted now? All right, little bend, little hop, and let's get up there and work our final really big pose. If you want to do something else, this is your opportunity, no problem. Working your breathing. Nice. Out of the 4 people I can see, 3 people are doing inversions, so we'll stay a little longer here. Yeah, gotta stretch your shoulders out after a forearm stand. I don't know, some people I've said, you know, you hear people thinking forearm balance is a lot easier. They always go to forearm balance because handstand is more challenging for them. I think handstand's easier personally. You know, something about having your shoulder and your elbow down, man, it's like, or maybe because I just do it more. For a really long time, I was really focused on forearm because that's how I got hollow back. You know, early in my practice, I could do like really deep double hollow back in forearm. I mean, this is like 2014. But I didn't get big handstand hollow back for like 2 to 3 years later because there's just more balance, right? It's easier to fall. So that steadier pose helped me develop the range. But then, you know, I didn't have that handstand. I was really focused on forearm for so long. So, all right, guys, listen, we got about 10 minutes. I think I'm going to go to stretching. We've done some pretty good, strong stuff. I'm thinking a front body stretch to start. You know, some options include camel, virasana, restorative bridge, frog, lay on your chest sphinx, reach back, grab the foot, pull to the hip. How about we do a nice big front body stretch? What do we do? Cobras, standing back bend. I guess, you know, flip dogs, front body stretch. So we did a pretty good amount. But, you know, maybe a nice stretch for your front body here. And it's just a small group of regulars. So I mentioned a few poses. Can you make an intuitive choice? Yogi's not just the one you like always. Find days to do the ones you don't like, that you do less of. Bow pose. Even restorative fish can, I guess, be in there. It's not that full of a front body stretch, but one nice big front body go here. Wow, 2 of you are doing, oh, yeah, I said frog pose. That's one of the frog poses. You say it, Stephen Brian, but this is the frog I was referring to. Yeah, there's multiple frog poses because it's front body stretch, right? You just actually adductors, inner thighs are, you know, really associated with front body. So you can do this. You don't need to do, you did enough front body really, but one big one in the end. This is the other frog that they're doing in case, right? And make sure you do your second side. If you're on one side, please. Really, any stretches will do if something feels tight on your body, right? A nice one here could be like laying on your chest and opening up. We did a lot of that in different forms today, but just to mention there, in case something's feeling tight. All right, next stretch here, yogis. I'd say something for like the back body and maybe the outer body. Pigeon's a fantastic one. Gomukhasana, if you're not doing it much. Remember, finding ways to do stuff you're doing less of, create different release. So Gomukhasana is the knee stack. Sukhasana is the shins crossed. Good old pigeon. Good to do regularly. All right, let's get our second nice stretch in here. Let's slow down another tier here. Breathe deep. Yeah, nice strap stretching can work here. It's back body stretching. Okay, no rush, right? When you're ready, you'll switch sides. Good minute here per side. Go back into your breathing, your intention setting. Remember, we're always working, basically the idea is controlling your thoughts and rather than have circumstances, environment, other people, news, media, control your thoughts and emotions, we're developing that process, intention setting, developing the process to control our thoughts. Like, what do we want to think about? Our goals, our future, not our past, or so there's always this development of intentional thought process. So, you think about what you're working on, right? You visualize your future, the things you want to change. You kind of picture yourself as you desire. That's a good one. Like when you wake up in the morning, first thing is like seeing your healthiest self. You probably want that, right? Seeing your happiest self. You probably want that. Whatever it is, see yourself with wealth. You see yourself in a new relationship. Like you create the new thought pattern for the new physical realm, right? So that's a big thing in yoga. You keep coming back to those intentions you're working on short-term and long-term. No rush, right? And we get three stretches here in the end. So maybe a twist, maybe a side bend. We did some side bends in the second sequence. We did some twists in the first and third. What's one more stretch you need? We did straddle already. Hamstrings are pretty good. Inner thighs pretty good because you did butterfly in the beginning. Straddle forward fold standing. Even things like half moon and warrior two get some inner thighs. What's one more you need? Seated spinal stretch might be a nice twist, might be a nice one, or just kind of reaching for your toes. Or you got time for one more stretch, yogis. You're closing up your physical practice, all right? Thanks, Jasmine. Second side, maybe if you're doing one side. And as a reminder, tomorrow, a little bit simple, slower, maybe a little bit more stretchy on Sundays. I think it's good if we're doing strengthening a few days a week to give you the opportunity to do a little bit more kind of slower and stretchy practice. I don't want to get like too busy. Tuesday is very fitnessy, yoga class, core. Hatha yoga this week was like very strengthening and intense. And today was crazy too. So a little bit more meditative tomorrow and stretchy. You'll still get some strengthening opportunities, just some fundamentals. All right. So you're going to finish up your final stretch, and I'm going to guide you into meditation. And ideally, you'd stay there for an hour eventually. When you work on holding plank longer and handstand longer, you got to work on holding meditation longer also. I said one of my main goals in my November challenge is meditation regularly. I do that. It's creating this new thing where I wake up, I don't turn on my cell phone or any lights, and I go into another room and I sit and meditate. I do like visualizing how I want to see myself. I do breathing. I do some like temple massage, forehead, scalp. I do gratitude meditation. So I'm doing all this stuff like first thing when I wake up. I used to do it for a while. I kind of got off of it. I want to bring it back in. And I'm like starting my day with this every day. It's like the most mindful and intentional practice possible. Not falling into the trap of the phone immediately, or eating or drinking water, right into mental, emotional work. All right. So let's get set up, guys. Your closing meditation here, the deep stuff, the download. And, you do some intentional stuff like breathing, but then it's kind of passive mind. You did a lot of work. So there's maybe some active meditation in the beginning, but then passive, sealing it in with your most released, relaxed, calm, centered self. And yogis, I'm going to leave you here, all right? I'll be here tomorrow, 7:45 a.m. It's a really good one. And it'll always be recorded for you if you need to do it up on the YouTube Yoga Universe, all right? Have a great day, yogis. Thanks for being here. Namaste.